The minister has also spoken about now, with the backlog being cleared, that processing duration will be about 2 weeks or thereabout. And he has also spoken about Nigerians needing to come and collect their already processed passports, that there appears to be a backlog of uncollected passports now. But on the issue of the processing time, how will this be implemented with all the explanations that you have given now? What assurances are you giving Nigerians that this processing time will be on or before the expiration of 2 weeks, as the minister has promised?
I believe you are aware that there's no more backlog now.
Right, and that also formed part of my earlier remarks.
No more backlog now, because every aspect of the directive given by the minister is a directive and it must be complied with. And the Acting Controller General has also directed that State Command must ensure that this directive is being carried out to the latest, and that's what we are doing. As a controller of the command here, I don't sit in my office at the command without visiting the passport office to see what they are doing. And we open our phone to every person that has any complaint, if there's any. So these are all monitoring mechanisms. There is no way the Honorable Minister will give directive and the Controller General will give directive and an officer will not carry it out. It's not possible. So all that you are seeing is as a result of good management from the top down. And by the grace of God, this will be sustained by the help of God through good leadership that we're having. And I quite believe Nigerians will be best for it. We are on top of our job as command controllers, and the PCOs are being monitored closely. And with every mechanism that the Controller General has put in place, we make sure that it's effective and it's working. So Nigerians should be rest assured that it is working. The only issue is that they should always visit the passport office to collect their booklets, because we have a lot of booklets that they are refusing to come to collect. And what is the reason? Even when they give numbers, you try to call certain numbers, and those numbers are not going through. So it's only when you give a correct number that we can reach you. And some will not also give a correct address. These are issues. So please, Nigerians should give their correct numbers and should give their correct addresses. This is the only way we can clear the booklets that is yet uncollected. But backlog, bye-bye.
All right, and another clarification we'll be requiring from you, Comptroller James, is the issue of establishment of more service centers, because the minister, also spoke about so many hiccups Nigerians face moving from location to an even more distant location just to process a passport. And the minister is now talking about, establishment of service centers to bridge this gap. Help us understand how this will work and how it will also aid your work manning your command, that is, for example, in Rivers State.
Right, home and abroad.
Right, home and abroad, indeed.
The service centers are alternate arm of the passport office. And sometimes it could be another passport office being opened in a state. So it all depends. Like in Abuja, you have the headquarters. You also have all the frontline offices at the National Assembly, at the Villa, at the Foreign Affairs Ministry. These are all outlets, an extension of the passport office to make sure there's ease of issuance of passport. You have also the passport office at Gwagwalada, that's for the FCT. But here in Rivers State, thanks to the Controller General of Immigration Service, Acting Controller General of Immigration Service, Caroline Wurala Adepoju, she visited Rivers State for a one-day workshop on the blue economy. And by the magnanimity of the executive governor of Rivers State, we have a new upcoming passport office here that has just been given to us to boost passport production in Rivers State. So very soon, Rivers State will have additional passport office. And I quite believe Lagos had its own fair share. Ibadan and other commands have their shares, Kano the same thing. So I quite believe this thing will go around the states of the Federation by the help of God. But for us here, we are happy that very soon we are going to have a new passport office, which is at the verge of completion. And congratulations to the Acting Controller General of Immigration Service that these things are happening during her time. And we thank the Honorable Minister of Interior for the good leadership.
That's right. Very quickly, some travel experts attributed the challenges Nigerians are facing, challenges and disrespect Nigerians are facing abroad, to the misbehavior of some unscrupulous, persons or individuals, their behavior and some of the things they also say about their own country on the social media, which these international communities also read about us. Do you feel this principle of reciprocity, which my colleague asked you about earlier on, would be enough to address this challenge?
There's no nation in the world that is advancing that will want a fight with another country. The principle of reciprocity is the last resort as a student of international affairs and diplomacy. But for us, what we advise Nigeria is that there must be citizenship integrity. Citizens' integrity is the number one. It's key. You hardly can hear any American abusing his country. You hardly hear any British citizen abusing his country. So if there be any or individuals or groups that are actually abusing the country, I think it boils down to citizen integrity. And the more reason why we must have patriotism and nationalism as part of the education in our institutions. People must learn to be patriotic. They must learn to be nationalistic. Because our leaders, that's the foundation that we make on the ground. Patriotism and nationalism. So if our citizens will imbibe citizen integrity, I think we will no longer go through the issue of people being harassed or whatever. Because there is a saying that says, you will be addressed the way you dress. So when you abuse your country, then you are already sending a signal out. When you say your country is not good, it's also a signal. So people must imbibe citizen integrity in everything they do. And patriotism is key. And we must be nationalistic.
All right. Comptroller of Immigration Service, River State Command, Comptroller Sunday James, we thank you very much for your contributions on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much for having me.